December and January are two of the slowest months of the year.
It's a trap.
But the spring season is right around the corner.
It's another trap.
If mortgage rates stay this way, activity is going to be really good later on.
It's a real trap.
See, that's the challenge right now. There is this huge trap of thinking that you still have time. And so, my name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker here at Maxwell and Realtor and Realtor Partners.
My name's Ming Richardson, the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
So, we do have good news in that there is a lot of opportunity as we move into 2026. The bad news is that if you are waiting, you are really already behind the eight ball here.
And a lot of people during mid-January tells themselves that they're fine because there are 11 months left in the year. Technically, that is true, but practically, it is how people fall behind without realizing it.
Yeah, see, the real challenge here is if you look at the numbers, the numbers tell you that December and January and even early February is a really slow time in real estate. And that is where we get this misconception going on, because while we do see that for sure you lose 2 weeks of marketing in December, it starts back on January 1. Now, we have delayed gratification in real estate because the work that you do now pays off later. See, right now we're seeing where mortgage purchase applications are kind of shooting through the roof. But we're also seeing where the amount of activity, showings, all these kind of things are really, really ramping up right now. And at the same time, we have realtors that are telling themselves, I'll get going in March. I'll start looking at this, when it gets to spring. I'll start the spring buying season, spring market later on. And the problem is you're missing out, right? And you're like you are, you're shooting yourselves in the foot here. So our challenge is and what we're trying to help you prevent is like the idea that I need to wait, right? Because this is a huge trap in our business, right? Exactly. If you wait until March,
the inventory might be a little tighter. There's more activities, and therefore your selection's a lot fewer.
Right. So, like, what you need to do is you need to start off the year the right way. You need to start off and say, look, take however many transactions that you want to have for the year, however many you need to survive. Like what are your financial goals? And it really starts with stating that one number, right? And if you'll multiply it times 0.135, you'll get an idea of how many deals you should already have by the end of January. Now, for most of us, that'll be a little bit startling. Be like, ooh, I'm already behind the eight ball. And yes, you are. Now, your business may be a little bit more seasonal, where you're at, that kind of stuff. There may be something else going on. But the bottom line is that you've really got to look at what can I do to get my business going. We've been trying to talk heavily about what's going on in the market. And if you leave your business up to the market, your business is never going to be great.
No, and you need to think ahead because it's about pre-planning. If you don't, it's like going on a trip. If you don't pre-plan what you need to pack, by the time you get there, guess what you're doing? You're buying everything off the shelf at the resort, and it's very expensive.
So how do you get your business going? Well, really, there's one thing, and I do mean one primary thing that you can do to really jumpstart your business, to get things going, to really make it so that your business erupts starting now, not waiting till March. And that's going to be conversations, right? Conversations is what drives real estate. We don't ever go from lead to closing. We go from lead to conversation, relationship to closing. That relationship in between that's the real important piece. Like the number of people, like the conversion rate on a lead is about 3%, but that's the thing that everyone starts looking at. And so for us, we want you to understand that it's about having conversations. And so how do you have conversations?
Pick up your phone.
You pick this up, right? And so the real question is, how many people can you call a day? How many dials can you do a day? Can you do 100 dials a day? Now, for a lot of people, that seems like a really daunting task. And if you commit yourself to calling 100 people a day, First of all, 100 people are not going to answer the phone. They won't. People are busy, things are going on, that kind of stuff. But that $100 a day really does come down to like really knowing your market, but also like we've done studies and tests and we understand how the ratio really works because, for every 5 to 6 dials that you make, you end up with one conversation. So if you do 6 dials and you end up with one conversation, like you can work that backwards into how many conversations that you need to have a day. And so if you want to have, let's say, I really want to have 15 conversations a day. Well, that means you got to be making between 60 and 90 dials a day. But understand what that does for your business. It helps you jumpstart your entire business.
And I know sometimes we're just hesitant in calling. I don't know what the hesitations are, but is it back in your mind? You're like, do I really want to pick that phone? Yes, you do, because without those conversations, a relationship would not be established.
See, everybody out there is looking for the easy button. And we get it, like we looked for the easy button for years. And it turns out that the easy button is exactly what we should be doing, and that is having conversations with folks who are interested in real estate. Now, it's not just about being the pushy
No,
salesman out
it's
there, right?
genuinely care for your
Yep.
clients and honestly, and get to reacquainted with them or see what they're doing and reconnect. And honestly, the reward is that at the end, you will actually feel closer to your client or your who may become one of your best friends
Yeah.
because things like this, as you mature in life, you'll find out that those are important.
But we are talking about calling people that you know. Now, you should always follow up on any kind of leads that come in. If you have any kind of lead systems, follow up on all those. Call any of your current hot leads, call any of your warm leads, reach out to all your friends. But like if you can do 90 calls a day, that's going to end up with 15 conversations. You should end up with like 3 new clients a day when
Mm-hmm.
you do that, just by reaching out, engaging, following up. The average cold lead needs 6 touches before they're ready to transact with you. However, the average realtor does one,
Right.
right? And so like the idea here is to start setting some daily and weekly goals on how many conversations and how many and are you really going to be calling. For us, we had to set it up in the mornings. For us, we would get our day going. We did win by noon. So we get up in the morning, we would reach out, make our phone calls first thing in the morning. Then we work in the business, and then we work in marketing. And then we had the afternoons and the early evenings all for showings and doing these kind of things.
Well, some flexibility building your time because sometimes things pops up, and so most of the time, nobody's going to ask you to go show a house first thing in the morning. But those are a good time for you to have those conversations first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Now everybody gets all wound up about what do I say? What should I do? I don't know what to do. I'm
How
so
about
like
hi?
what should
How
we
about
do?
just
How
hi?
about hi?
Okay.
Like calling just to say hey, calling to check in, calling to see how you're doing, calling to see if you made it through the ice storm. Call. I mean, like the power of being nice is unbelievably effective, right? No pitch, no angle, no sales, none of that. When you call and genuinely focus on relationships, transactions follow because transactions come because somebody trusts us, and
Mm-hmm.
trust comes from having a conversation. Like we would not have a relationship if we didn't talk. Now, there's times that that's a challenge too. I get that's a husband and wife thing. I get it. However, if you are going to have a relationship with somebody, you're going to have to be able to communicate. You're going to have to talk to them, and that's what we're really talking about doing. We're not talking about hard selling. We're not talking about cold calling, that kind of stuff.
So if you have a hard time with topics of discussion, family's always a great one to start off with.
Well,
And
yeah.
if nothing else, ask them how their job's going. Okay.
Well,
And then,
recreation.
yeah, what have
Yeah.
you been doing? I know last time I talked to you, you love biking. So how's that going for you? And then end up with their dreams and aspiration. And some people just love to have that spelled out to you and let them and tell you what's going on, what they want to do. And based on that, be a good listener.
What Ming just laid out for you, which you may not realize, is the Ford questions, the Ford dialogue, FORD, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And by the way that those work best is when you put those in question format,
Correct.
right? When you ask folks, hey, how's the job? How are the kids? What's going on here? When you ask questions based around the Ford, and then you like pay attention to this, right? God gave you two ears, one mouth. Use them like of the same proportion, right? Listen, right? So you ask a question and then zip it. See what your clients have to say. Ask some more questions. You would believe it's hard to believe just how well of a relationship builder this really is with your clients, right? So like that really is a magical formula for being able like you're not selling, and that's the thing we really want to emphasize here.
No, and you guys, through the relationship, the trust comes. Not only trust, familiarity comes, and then if not, referral and recommendation.
Yeah. Now, one thing you can do while you're reaching out and being pleasant and being nice and asking your forward questions,
Well,
that
we're
kind of stuff.
hoping that you're doing this genuinely because
Yeah.
honestly, these are people that you know that you have relationship or had past transaction with.
Yeah. But there's also nothing wrong with being prepared to have some items of value that maybe you can pass on when it's appropriate, right? Maybe some of the folks that you talk to could really benefit from a home equity assessment or a home equity update kind of thing. Maybe some folks need a list of your contractors and folks that you trust to work on
Because
homes.
when you ask them how they're doing, it's like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm working on this project at
yeah,
home, and it's taking me more time, or whatever it is. Then you can say, what is it you're looking for,
yeah.
and they'll tell you what they're looking for, and then you can make your recommendation on contacts
Mhm.
and referral that you trust, and give it to them.
Yeah, maybe you could also share out like if you send out a newsletter on a regular basis, folks that have any kind of particular housing needs that you might be able to do. Even market information, what's really happening?
Hmm.
Like that's the one that we get more than I think any of them is like, how's the market? How's the market? What's going on with the market? How's real estate? Like you get a lot of those. So being able to answer those intelligently and really offer value just by keeping folks in the know what's happening. Is it a good time? Is it not a good time? That kind of stuff really is very, very crucial
Absolutely.
for your success here. But the other thing is how often should you reach out? Can you over engage?
Yes.
Well, I mean you can. Nobody wants to be um like nobody wants to interact with someone and you can hear the commission breath on them, right? You can hear that they're just like, what can I do to get you in a house today? Sure, I hope you'll buy a house soon, that kind of stuff. That is not what we're talking about. But like genuinely reaching out on a regular basis. See, the thing is that when you reach out consistently and without the expectation of return, and then you do that on a regular basis.
Hmm.
It's not about selling. It's not about engage. I mean, it's not
Right.
about trying to be pushy or anything like that. It just has to be on a regular, normal kind of basis. Like I call every month. I call every week. I call every 2 weeks. I call every three
I have one
months.
investor that I work with for a long, long time. I'll just come up every blue moon, say, "Hey, what you doing?" He's like, "Nothing." I said, "Oh, don't tell me that." Stuff like that. And
Yeah,
and I love one thing I know about him. He loves go fishing. He likes projects. So I just ask those basic questions: one, to follow up with him, and two, see how he's doing. And guess what? I am. He is one of my biggest raving fans because he lives in Florida now, and he will call me up, say, "Hey, Ming, I got someone in Georgia you might want to check out." So things like that are valuable. It's not asking for the business constantly. It's because I call him, say, "How's the weather?" It sure is cold up here because
yeah.
well, now under winter weather storm, and where he is right now is not so bad.
Well, if there's one thing that we can kind of leave with you here, rhythm keeps you relevant. Like it really does. That's like, please steal this from us. Rhythm keeps you relevant. It will keep you going. And it will make the whole process feel very, very natural here.
And if you always lead with care, I promise you, trust will follow.
Yeah. I mean, like being a good person, being kind, not calling to sell. And I know that seems like all of a sudden we live in opposite world, but that's how
Mhm.
this really does work. I mean, like everyone thinks that they have to sell. You don't have to sell. We don't sell. We ask questions and we fix problems, right? When you lead with care, the trust comes along, and no real estate transaction happens without trust. It's also the basis for all your referral business out there, because somebody has to trust you enough to refer you. So
Absolutely.
if it's somebody that you don't know and you're like, hey, I live off referrals, are they going to refer you? No, no, not at all. Like you get referrals from people that trust you, and trust comes because you built a relationship with them, because you have a regular cadence of when you reach out and that kind of stuff. I mean, the bottom line is, honestly, people want to hear from you. I think we have this misconception that people don't want to hear from us, but they really do want to hear from us. And so, like we need to be looking at what a great year 2026 is going to be, and moving into it. We're seeing where right now we need more new listings coming on the market. So we should be definitely reaching out to those folks that decided to wait before. We're seeing where prices are holding really, really flat right now.
Hmm.
And January is normally a really great time for buyers. But this is one of those times when so many agents are sitting waiting in the background, that if you are the one that ups your cadence, who ups your engagement, your outreach, if you make your output higher than anybody else, your year is going to absolutely blow up.
Absolutely. So, like I said, don't expect dramatic market downturn because a lot of people say, "Oh, the sky's falling."
Yep.
It's not, um, unless there's something traumatic happening in the administration and
We're
global
we're not
economy.
seeing any of that.
There's not an
Yeah.
expectation of what the roller coaster we have been on.
Yeah.
So, just make sure that you are reaching out to your client genuinely, and also look at this business as a opportunity, because when you don't look at it as an opportunity, you tend to let the market dictate how you're going to move.
Yeah. So have a great week. If we can be of any kind of service, please call, text, smoke signals. We answer it all.
Thank you and have a great
Have a
day.
great day.
Thank you for watching.